You're unkind. Nuh-uh, you are. I'm all for kindness and you're unkind. That's insulting. No, you're insulting. No, you're insulting. You're insulting me with all your hate. You're accusing me of hate? I'm loving. No, I'm loving. Love is the answer. All you need is love. That's how I know you're unloving, mean, and arrogant. You should be nice. I'm the nicest. I believe everyone should always be nice. You're just negative. I'm not negative. I'm always positive. I believe in positivity for all. You're not being positive with me. You're negative. No, I'm positive. You're uncaring. I'm absolutely caring. I firmly believe in caring always about everything. You're the one who doesn't care. Does this sound like an effective moral debate to you? If not, why not? Maybe you've been in arguments like this. What makes them so ineffective? Is it that they're not being nice? That's right, I'm nice and he's not. Is it that they shouldn't be name callers? Are you calling me a name caller? That's name calling. I didn't call him any names. I said he's uncaring. I'm caring and he's not. Is it that they're attacking each other's characters? Yeah, he attacked my character. I'm always of good character, which proves he's a bad character. Not nice, name-calling, character assassinations. These are typical diagnoses of sick moral arguments. And I think they've been throwing us off for millennia, ever since Buddha and Christ and the whole love solves everything virtue brandishing started. Here we are millennia later playing a catty, moronic, cutthroat game of King of the Virtue Hill while the world crumbles under our feet. Here I'll propose a different diagnosis. See what you think. By the end of this short video, you'll have some simple grounding tools that might help you wise up toward a healthier give and take in the moral marketplace. By moronic, I mean we talk about virtues like niceness as if they're cost-free, infinite resources. Just pile on more and more niceness, more and more on, like we're crusaders for the virtues and you can never have too much of any of them. That's how we get into dumbass scrambles for the top of Virtue Hill. It's the positive version of I know you are, but what am I times infinity. It's I'm loving times infinity. That stuff turns us into moral morons. Apply that to any of the supposed infinite virtues. We Christians, Buddhists, Muslims, and spiritualists are for infinite love. Me, unkind, don't make me laugh. I'm the king of kindness. Compared to me, you're a kindness midget. Or right-wing hawks. We're for military strength times infinity. You can never have enough strength. If you don't agree, you're weak and hate strength. Or the megalomaniacs. We love the Constitution times infinity. Trump loves it so much. Who are you going to believe, Trump or the Constitution? Trump, of course, and if you disagree with Trump about anything, you're a traitor who hates America and the Constitution. Trumpists do it about all the absolute virtues. They're for strength, loyalty, patriotism, kindness, respect, law and order, and all the rest turned up to infinity times infinity. If you challenge them on anything, they'll whip out their butts, whichever infinite virtue makes you wrong and them right. To them, Trump represents all the virtues, just like he represents all the superheroes in his trading cards. There are never any trade-offs between the virtues he represents. He's the superhero moron for whichever virtue makes him the supreme being in the moment. People have been doing that about supreme beings for millennia. My name-droppable God ally's highest priority is whichever infinite virtue wins me this debate. This kind of moral moronics makes sense of the terms extremism, totalitarianism, and absolutism. We're all extreme to somebody somewhere in the world. Extreme can't mean unusual. What makes an extremist is this moronic move. Take whatever virtue you want and pretend you can push it to the furthest possible extreme. Demand the absolute totalization of whatever virtue entitles you to kick others down Virtue Hill. By that definition, even the New Age hippie proudly crowing that infinite love is the answer to everything is an extremist, absolutist, totalitarian who doesn't begin to understand what love is other than a virtue-brandishing weapon for bullying people into loving them. The way to ground our moral debates is to admit that the virtues are not cost-free and infinite. Let me illustrate. You like money, right? Me too. The more you have, the more you can spend on things you want, including gifts for the people you love. Still, you don't have an unlimited supply, so you're careful where you spend it. Sharing money with a romantic or business partner, you might debate where to spend it. Okay, now imagine a partner who is really proud of believing that everyone should have all the money they want, like money is an infinite, cost-free resource. Suppose you disagree about where to spend your limited funds. The debate gets heated. Okay, so what if your partner said, I'm a good person because I think everyone should have all the money they want. I'm a superhero crusading for abundance, and here you are trying to deprive me of money for what I want. Outrageous. You clearly aren't a good person like me. You must really hate money. Ridiculous, right? But that's how people handle morality. I'm loving. I believe in infinite love for all. I love everything. That makes me a good person. You should love what I love, and if you don't, you're unloving. You like love too, right? Are you careful about how you spend your limited love budget? Or is your love budget boundless? Are you one of the billions of people who follow Christ or Buddha or any of the love gurus, encouraging you to grant infinite love to everyone? Is love finite or infinite? On the one hand, love takes focused, concentrated effort. We can't make an effort in all directions at once. We each have limited supplies of effort. If you marry one partner, you're investing a finite resource. On the other hand, maybe love is infinite. If you have not one but 10 kids, do you give them all the loving attention you'd give to an only child? Or is that just romantic lip service love? It's lip service and you know it. I'm saying it's time to admit that the virtues are limited resources. Virtue budgets and trade-offs are a real-world challenge. You already act like you know it. You don't care about everything. You can't, won't, and shouldn't. You don't love everything. You're not kind to everyone. Love isn't the answer. It's the question you've been dealing with all life long. Where to allocate your limited capacity to demonstrate real love. We say choose kindness, care, niceness, compassion, tolerance like it's easy. From what I can tell, those lofty words all entail accommodating someone. By definition, accommodating someone, doing what they want over what you want, is not cost-free, nor unlimited. We're careful where we invest our limited capacity to accommodate others. What then could we possibly mean to claim that love is the answer, or for that matter, the golden rule is the answer? You can't, won't, and shouldn't accommodate everyone. What then are we getting out of making that preposterous claim that everyone should accommodate everyone? Most likely a sense that we're superior for our faith in infinite love and caring and accommodation. If you post a meme that says love is infinite, you'll get lots of likes and hearts from people who feel proud of being pro-love times infinity. It's Christ-like, right? No matter what subculture you embrace, from hippy-dippy to trumpy-dumpy, you'll find folks talking about infinite love and the haters who hate it. It's a Christ-like buzz to feel like a crusader for infinite love, and then to act like anyone who doesn't love what you love is unloving. Once you start listening for it, you hear this self-romanticizing infinite virtue brandishing everywhere. Trumpists are making America great again for everyone, which is why you should trust and love them infinitely. If you don't trust and love them infinitely, you're just a hater who wants to make America worse, and therefore you don't deserve anything. Hitler and Stalin galvanized their movements the same way. Virtues to the max times infinity. But it's not just them. You hear the same from the New Age totalitarian Eckhart Tolle. Infinite love and egolessness are the answer. Get egoless. Become absolutely mindful to the max. Everything you don't like is egotistical and therefore beneath you. Our romancing of infinite virtue is ultimately self-romancing. Once you've chosen love, then you can hate whomever you want with infinite confidence and authority. Here are two simple grounding techniques for getting more realistic about love, kindness, and all the rest of those other swell-sounding infinite more and more on virtues. You know that game where you add in bed at the end of a fortune cookie fortune? Whenever you hear one of those popular moral terms in a meme or a quote, add by my standards at the end of it. People love infinite love by their standards, for them and theirs. People like infinite freedom by their standards, for them and theirs. We don't tend to think beyond our standards, especially when we're feeling passionate. When we bellow freedom like we're Braveheart, we mean our freedom. Just like Mel Gibson, who now a Trumpist, is bellowing freedom for a dictator wannabe. He didn't seem to get or want the message of his movie. Not everyone who cries freedom is underprivileged or oppressed, and no one is debating whether freedom is a good thing. We're debating whose freedom by whose standards. Apply that to any of those sweet-sounding moral terms. Take hope. We all have hope. No one hopes for everything. Everyone hopes for what they want by their standards and for those they care about. You're no more hopeful than your worst enemy. You just hope for different things. Do you think you could win a moral debate by saying, yeah, but I have a dream? Is that really your trump card? Trump isn't your enemy because he hates hope. He's your enemy because he hopes for the opposite of what you hope for. You're for love, but so are your enemies. You're for kindness, honesty, integrity, trust, forgiveness. Add by my standards to the end of any of those virtue-maxing trump cards, and you'll see the problem. Everyone hopes to make America great again. Everyone wants to bring back something they liked about America. The question isn't whether to make America great again, but how. Likewise, whenever you swoon over some meme about some infinite virtue, try this. Picture it branded not to your lifestyle, but to your enemy's lifestyle brand. If you're a liberal and you see a liberal meme about choosing love and ignoring the haters, picture it branded to Maga. Here's the second way to wise up for more effective moral debate. When you hear someone say you should always be kind, or some other always rule based on one of those vague and lofty infinite moral terms, think always throw. If you saw a meme that said always throw, you'd wonder, throw what? Throw is a verb that requires an object, something thrown. Kindness doesn't. The object is optional. Kindness to whom? To wise up about morality, demand an object. Always be kind to whom? To children? To Nazis? To psychopaths? Be careful where you point that stuff. We all cheer proudly for loyalty, kindness, niceness, strength, trust, and hope, and all those other virtues by our standards, niceness to us. We tend to feel elevated to a position of ultimate, humble, virtuous authority from which to declare other people unkind, not nice, weak, or whatever. We end up talking past each other, ducking each other's put-downs from on high. We're not debating whether we love or hate love. We're debating what to love. Do you like freedom? Do you like order? If you like both, and everybody does, you're a libertarian socialist. We're not debating whether we're for or against freedom or laws. We're debating what to tighten and what to loosen. Which freedoms, which regulations. Do you like some changes and not others? Then you're a progressive conservative. We're not debating whether we like or hate change. We're debating what to change and what to keep the same. It's easier to spot in our enemies, but I'm saying it's a delusion of infinite moral grandeur that any of us can fall for, and it stunts our collective moral development. Just pull out your butt any supposed absolute virtue, pretend you're for it a gazillion %, and then from your seat of absolute authority, squash your enemy. Throughout history, it's been a major motivation for humbling ourselves before idealized, imaginable, name-droppable Lord of Lords and whatever virtues we claim they represent times affinity, so we can lord it over others as if the infinite goodness of the universe is on our side. It invites our enemies to do that crap right back at us. As always, email me if you need some help dealing with one of these infinite virtue signalers who put you down for not being infinitely lofty like they are. I can help you tailor a strategy to your situation and talents so they get off their high horses and start treating you like a fellow human being. First half hour is free. And as always, thanks for wondering with me. Freedom!